Hi there, James Savage from National Club Golfer, and today we've got some brand new wedges to talk to you about, and it's the Vokey SM7 wedges. You've probably sort of heard of quite a lot about already. They've been on tour for quite some time now. Titleist have this sort of tour seeding process, which, you know, actually started, I think, you know, going back to the Shriners Hospital Open for children in 2017, which was a good sort of 3 or 4 months ago now. They get all their tour players, you know, dialed into these wedges, and then within a couple of weeks, everyone's playing them, and you know, all of a sudden they're the #1 wedge on tour. So, what are our first impressions of the SM7? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do first. I'm just going to take the wrapper off this one because it's always fun to do. There you go, beautiful. So what different to the SM7 wedges compared to the SM6 wedges, and what are you guys going to notice? Well, I think the SM6 wedges were like a bit of a, you know, a groundbreaking wedge for Vokey. They really did improve massively on the SM5 because they introduced the sort of new sort of like progressive and targeted centre of gravity locations, which was all about getting the centre of gravity sort of like low down on the sort of the lower lofted wedges, for more for like the full shots, and then moving that centre of gravity up the face a little bit on the more lofted wedges, where, you know, you sort of bunker shots open in the face, or, you know, flop shots, that sort of thing. So that was a really key move for the Vokey wedges, and the SM6 wedges were fantastic. You did notice, you know, a really huge amount of improvement from SM5 to SM6. So what we've got from SM6 to SM7, it's not really those sort of, you know, sort of same groundbreaking new technologies. It's really just a case of them refining the tech. You know, we've got a lot of the very similar things. Like, we've still got this progressive centre of gravity, you know, these centre of gravity locations. But Titleist say that again, they've just been able to refine those a little bit just to make sure that they get that consistency, because that's what it's all about really. It's about, you know, getting the same number time after time after time with a particular wedge, and that's by getting that centre of gravity in the exact place, so it's really nicely aligned with where the ball is striking. So we've got that again. Another key thing about Vokey wedges is all their grind options. They've got 6 grind options there, which are, you know, help people with different types of swings and also playing different types of turf conditions. So we've got all the grinds that you know about, but they've also got this new D grind, which is sort of a player's sort of high bounce option. Probably won't see too many club golfers going into this, but it's something that you might see on tour. So, and the other thing is they've just refined the way that they do the grooves a little bit. They've just been able to be a little bit more precise with the grooves again, which is going to give you a little bit more spin, and they say you should be able to get about 100 RPMs more spin on the SM7 compared to the SM6. So like I said, they're not massive changes, they're not night and day differences. It's just about taking a product like the SM6, tweaking it, and just, you know, seeing if they can just make it that little bit better. And I think the fact that you know, so many tour players were very quick to put the SM7 into play. It was the #1 wedge on tour on its sort of second week on tour, if you like. So, you know, tour players, particularly when it comes to wedges, they're not going to change just for change's sake. So I think that's a good positive signs for the SM7. So just touching a little bit more on the sort of tour player fitting side of things, we actually caught up with Liam McDougall, one of Titleist's main European tour fitters. We caught with him out in Abu Dhabi, and he can just tell us a little bit more about the work that he does with tour players to get them fitted sort of from their old SM6 wedges into new models like the SM7.
So we started the launch in Dubai. We look at what the players are currently using. We then build exactly what they have there, get them to test like for like, and then put in some grinds and options without them looking at it really, and see how the new grinds and different ones perform in SM7 against SM6, and go through a full fitting from there. But really checking to the fine detail their current spec and matching in the new spec as a start point. The SM6 was really good, as a great wedge and well received. SM7, we've got an improvement there. In the higher lofts the CGs are higher, in the lower lofts the CGs are lower. So what that does for us is it gives us that wee bit more consistency. So what we've seen out here, if players are using a 46 or 40, a 48 or a 50 wedge, for example, then we're seeing that number that they hit being more consistent because of the new CG location. The best way of that I find doing it is to give the player the grind, that when you're looking at his turf interaction and how he sets up, how he delivers, if he's shallow, if he's steep, if he's inside, if he's across, it's to give them something that you think will work to help his delivery and how he wants to play the shot, not showing him the grind initially. Sometimes when the player looks at a grind, they can be put off straight away. The best thing I tend to find is that if they hit the grind first, see performance, and then look, it's an easier fit. The big thing to come out of SM7 for me is consistency. It's been a really consistent product. And when players are looking at hitting their number or hitting shots, we're seeing it being that bit more consistent.
Okay, so thanks for that, Liam. Yeah, really good to get some of that tour insight from a guy who sort of like lives and breathes, fitting tour players. He's out on tour 35 weeks of the year, so he really does know his stuff. But what are my impressions of the Vokey SM7 wedges from a performance point of view, and how have I got on with them? Well, it all started for me at Titleist National Fitting Centre down in St Ives, where I got fitted, obviously, into these wedges. I worked through, lots of different lofts and lots of different grinds, to really find the combinations really that were going to work for me. They're going to fill the right slots in my bag, but also got the the sort of right grinds that are going to help my swing and the sort of courses that I play. And so I actually got fitted into a 48-degree F grind, which is that F grind is like a full sole grind, which is kind of helpful on your full shots, which is sort of why I expect to be playing with a 48-degree club. It's on, it's just sort of it's my gap wedge, if you like, from my pitching wedge at 44 degrees, and then into a 48 degree here, and then I went into a 54 degree again in the F grind, because the F grind was working best for me. That full sole, good for full shots, but just good for players like me. I keep it quite simple with my wedges. I just like to keep a nice square face and try and just back and through, keeping that face nice and square, rather than trying to open it up or close it or do anything too funky. So nice and simple on the 54 degree F grind. And then the standout performer for me in the fitting is this 58 degree K grind that I've got here. Now, why I like this K grind so much is it's got the sort of widest sole, it's got the most bounce, it's like the most forgiving wedge that you can get in the sort of Vokey lineup, and it's just such a good club for me. I mean, I know these are sort of bladed wedges used by tour players, but I think with the grind options that Titleist have, that Vokey have, you can really get some forgiving options, and this K grind is exactly that. You can see there how sort of how much bounce there is there and how wide that sole is there, and it's just really good in sort of bunker shots. I feel like the club's doing a lot of work for you in that sort of semi-rough. Again, lots of bounce, just helps the ball get out for you. So I really love this K grind, this 58 degree club. And this was the club that I was mainly doing most of the testing work when I was out in Abu Dhabi at Saadiyat Beach Golf Club. We were chipping, from all around the green. We were doing lots of bunker play, just all type of short game shots that you can imagine. And it's just, particularly with this club, it's really versatile, and it does work on lots of different type of shots. Like I say, I'd be lying if I said that there was a huge amount of difference between SM7 and SM6 that I noticed, but the performance of these was very good. That you do notice, getting that nice amount of spin around the greens. Obviously, fresh grooves are going to do that. There's a really nice feel as well. There's sort of like quite a soft feel, which I really enjoy as well. So if you're a Vokey fan, maybe you were in the SM5 wedges, or maybe SM4. You're familiar with Vokey. If you change from those into the SM7, you're going to notice some real huge performance benefits, because, like I say, you're going to get a little bit more spin, you're going to get a little bit more consistency and accuracy with these CG locations. Just a little bit on the finishes. We've got this here, which is sort of like your stock chrome finish, which is probably the most popular, but we've also got a brushed chrome finish as well, which is that slightly darker, which a lot of the tour players prefer. And we've also got a new sort of jet black raw finish as well, which is something completely new for that. It'll reduce all the glare. There's sort of like really sort of black stealthy look, which some people like, but I'm a big fan of this finish here. I think with the black wedges, I've had it before, I think it just makes the head look a little bit smaller for some reason. I was just thinking with the chrome finish, it just fills you with a little bit more confidence at address, but that could just be me. So yeah, massive thumbs up for the SM7, working really well for me. Mid handicapper, should a mid handicapper be using the sort of tour player stuff? Well, like I said, I think if you go through that fitting process and you get the clubs that are exactly right for you, I don't think it matters what your handicap is. I think that, you know, even if you're a teens to, you know, to sort of 20 handicap, you can still get a set of Vokeys that are going to work for you, because they have got a lot of these forgiving soles and things like that. So that, you know, don't need to be put off by them. Give them a try, work with your pro, try and figure out the ones that are going to work for best for you. If they don't work for you, no problem, but definitely give them a try. I do think there's some Vokey wedges out there for everyone. Please post us some comments below about what you think about the Vokey SM7. Have you used Vokey wedges before? You know, what do you like about them? Maybe you don't get on with them. Please post below and tell us why. If you want any more information as well about some of the different lofts and bounce and grind combinations, there's like 23 different combinations. There's a lot to go through. If you have any more questions, please post them below. We will get back to you straight away. So yeah, definite thumbs up from us. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, tell us why. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.